His office is clean, his outbox is full, his pile of books is gone. The man sits staring at his empty office for some time. He begins to get antsy. Where has he gone? There is no way to know. What did he say to his boss? What was on the list? And what are all the books for? The man is beginning to feel nauseous thinking about it all. He is making himself sick. He has to think about something else. Perhaps there is something else on the television. The man changes the channel. There is a cartoon about a coyote, a commercial for an exercise machine, someone talking about the weather. No, wait, what's this? There's the man again. He's in his car now, driving down a street in which the man on the couch is unfamiliar. He stops outside a building, an office building, and he goes inside. He speaks to a receptionist and is then ushered into a conference room. In the room are a number of men, all of whom look very serious. At home, the man on the couch is frightened, but his other self looks perfectly at ease. He places his briefcase carefully on the table, unlocks it with a pair of decisive clicks, and opens it up. Inside is a stack of papers. He begins to hand them out, and as he does so, he begins to speak. He speaks about things the man on the couch does not understand, stocks and bonds and financial matters, things like that. The man on the couch furrows his brow trying to follow it all. He can't. But he is relieved to see that the men in the room seem to be following it quite well, and what's more, seem to be quite happy with what they're hearing. At the end of the meeting, the men rise smiling and spend quite some time congratulating the man on what he has said and done. Cigars are passed around, and the man takes one and sees himself smoking it with a practiced air, despite the fact that he has never smoked a cigar before in his life and would never want to, as they are disgusting. Still, he has to admit it is quite enjoyable. When the man leaves the meeting, however, the show does not follow him. He stays in the conference room with the other men, and after a while, despite the fact that these other men are beginning to seem vaguely familiar, the man on the couch starts to tire of their banter. He figures he's probably gotten back to the office by now, so he changes the channel again. He is almost back to his original station when suddenly he recognizes himself on a show about doctors. He is in surgery, raising his hands in the air as a nurse slips a pair of latex gloves over them. He almost didn't recognize himself thanks to the mask that covers half his face, but there's no doubt about it, it's him after all. If a man can't recognize himself, what can he recognize? This is his first day as a surgeon. Apparently, the man has been going to night school. The man on the couch is impressed. He didn't know you could go to night school to become a surgeon, and yet it turns out that he himself has actually been doing it this whole time. He marvels at himself as he cuts open some poor man's chest and begins to operate on his malfunctioning heart. He hopes the operation will go well, and it does. The nurses congratulate him as he sews the man back together. Later on, they all go out drinking, and the man makes love to one of the nurses, the more attractive one, in the bathroom of the club. It is the best sex the man has had in years. On the other station, the man finds himself foiling a gang of jewel thieves. He has infiltrated the gang thanks to some ingenious plastic surgery and a number of carefully constructed lies. He waits until the last possible moment, and then he springs the trap. Everyone is arrested and found guilty, and after the trial, the man is singled out for bravery and is given a medal. A monument is erected to put him in park downtown. Lovers sit on a bench beside the monument and feel safe. Still, it is sad because the man's father once died in a botched robbery, and while what the man has done makes himself feel better, as though he has finally evened out the situation, he knows that nothing he can do will ever bring his father back from the dead. Still, though, perhaps his work has prevented other innocent fathers from being killed. Meanwhile, the man is a scientist who has invented a way to bring people back from the dead. He uses it to bring back his wife, who died a few years ago, but then he learns that she didn't love him after all, and that it's better not mess with bringing people back from the dead. He is a better man for learning this, but still he can't help but feel sorry for himself as he misses his wife and the love that he thought she had for him. On another station, the man is punching another man, himself, in the face over and over again. The man sees the glory and the horror in this, but he doesn't feel like watching it right now. On another station, the man has become the head of a warlike country and is threatening to unleash Armageddon on the world if the barbarous demands are not met. The man becomes afraid of himself and changes the channel. Now he's murdering a small boy in a field with a rusty knife, and he feels absolutely terrible. Whatever happened to night school and books about poetry? He changes the channel again. There he is trying to sell himself some kind of cleaning product, and now he is running down the street faster than an airplane thanks to the wonderful shoes he has invented, and blackmailing a political figure even though he himself is not without sin. The man is beginning to become confused. He is proud of himself and everything he has accomplished, very proud indeed. He always knew he had it in him, but at the same time he is scared of what he sees. There are things about himself that he doesn't want to know, things that he doesn't want to think about. He wishes there were some way he could choose what he does and does not do, but it is beyond his control. He runs rampant across the world, helping and killing and saving and selling, buying and raping and stealing and feeling and making love and running away and laughing and crying and dying and being born and dying and being born and dying and being born and dying and being born. The man cannot take it anymore. He cannot take it anymore. He walks into the other room and puts a shotgun in his mouth, and just then the show comes abruptly to an end. Eventually the man comes to see that he has a mind, and that his mind is like a fist, wrapped tightly around a single thought. He cannot open the fist to look at the thought, for fear that it will fly away, but he knows that it is very important that he must hang on to it, no matter the cost. He stares at the fist and hopes that it is very strong. He feels like a man who has fallen asleep at the wheel and is awakened to find his car lurching off a cliff. He has applied the brake, he has swung the wheel to the side, he has offered up a silent prayer, and it is yet too soon to see whether he has done things in time. He can only wait for the next moment to come and hope as hard as he can. Finally, the next moment comes. The man realizes that the thing in his hand is not a thought at the end of an electrical cord. He looks down and finds that the electrical cord leads to the television, now a dark silent box laying on the floor at his feet. The man feels a rush of triumph. He has come out on top. He has won. He grins to himself as he contemplates his next move. He decides that the best thing to do is to take the TV down to the trash and get rid of it, and this is exactly what he does. But in the stairwell on the back from the trash, the man passes himself carrying the television down to the trash. He stops to congratulate himself on his wisdom and strength, but his other self averts his eyes, hoping not to be noticed. The man begins to take offense and is about to say something when both of them are elbowed aside by a third version of the man, who is carrying his TV back up from the trash. The man hurries after himself, yelling, "No, no, I don't want that anymore," but he doesn't listen. As they enter the apartment, the man on the couch looks up from the TV in irritation. Why can't everyone leave him alone? The room is packed with versions of the man, running here and there, talking to himself about this and that, making plans on the phone and staring out of the window and falling in love and falling out of love and finding himself loved and unloved and hated and feared and liked and disliked and ignored and unknown and known. He is fired, promoted, rehired, fired. He has found a new place to live and is moving out, is moving in and repainting, is in the other room dying and in the kitchen being born. There's too much going on. The man walks out the door and down the hall and into the next apartment. "Mommy, Mommy," scream his children. "What's for breakfast?" The man makes French toast and waffles and ham and eggs and pancakes and cereal and Pop-Tarts and brownies and hot dogs and hamburgers and baked Alaska and a birthday cake in the shape of a castle and pours glasses of milk and orange juice and coffee and Tang and Kool-Aid and water and puts ice in all the glasses, trying to ignore himself as he murders each and every one of the kids over and over and over again in hundreds of different ways and gets a job in another country under an assumed name and pees all over the dining room floor and draws on the wall in crayon. He takes the kids down to the bus stop 700 times and he drives the bus to school. Drunk, sober, hungover, on acid, pot, cocaine, uppers, downers, on nothing at all. It doesn't matter in the least. He gets in an accident every foot of the way, or he doesn't. At school he gets in a fight on the playground and is sent to the office, or doesn't and isn't, or does and isn't, or doesn't and is. He gives himself a good lecture, maybe, winks at the secretary he has or has not been begging for the past 2 weeks, or 4 weeks, or 10 weeks, or no weeks, then hurries slowly to the woman's room, realizing that it is or is not his time of the month, mops none or half of all the gym, goes out back to have a smoke or stare at the sky or remember the time he accidentally ate a spider, became president, or something else or nothing else and everything else. He flies to the next town over and perches in a tall tree, then falls to the ground in several different countries and is blown away by the wind, which hammers endlessly in all the years he has, more than he is capable of counting, for approximately 93 billion years, as good a guess as any to a time outside of time. The man especially loves it. When he is a doctor, a lawyer, a caveman, a cowboy, an old man who owns a luncheonette and talks to the people who come in to eat every day. He hates it when he is a doctor, a lawyer, a caveman, a cowboy, an old man who owns a luncheonette and talks to the people who come in to eat every day. But he loves it when he is a comedian, a beautiful young model, an astronaut, the King of England, a profiler working for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It is very exciting. He loves to taunt the profiler by sending him long, cryptic notes written in human blood. He knows he will never catch him, and even if he does, it doesn't really matter because he is already dead and buried and being eaten by worms, and will probably just get another medal and a raise anyway. Sometimes the man cries himself to sleep at night, but usually he just changes the channel. He has not been able to find his way to the office. He doesn't know where they put it. He rings and rings, but the nurse no longer answers his calls. One night he discovers that his lips are horribly chapped. This strikes him as the worst thing that has ever happened, and he sobs uncontrollably for almost 14 seconds. Then once more he opens the fist. Thank you for listening. Stories for the nighttime and some for the day by Ben Loory. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite parts of it might have been in the comments.